everybody, and welcome to another handpan lesson by NovaPans Handpans. Today is lesson 8. It's going to be a little less rudimental, i.e. Less techniques. Trust me, there'll be plenty of that in the future lessons. What we're going to teach you in this tutorial is this. Now this has multiple names. I think most people would preferably remember it by from Hang Massive, just calling it the Hang Massive riff. But what it is really is, I mean, if you type in Hang Massive, you'll see the two guys in the park in the UK somewhere doing this. And what's perfect about it is the right hand does the accompaniment, the bass accompaniment, and the left hand does the melody. One person can create this incredible sounding piece, you know, and that's what makes people, passerbys, people walking by, look at this and think, what are they doing? It's incredible. So, another term for it is called walking your hands, and that's evolved from playing drums, which is walking your feet. Now, I don't know if you can see my feet from up there. You'd be lucky if you can't. But on drums, we play they're called walking your feet. You go right, left, playing the bass drum, hi-hat, bass drum, hi-hat, and that's normally used when the actual drummer wants to do some riffs, wants to play some fills or beats, while their feet are playing some kind of accompanying boom cha boom cha. Same logic applies here when you're doing this. Your right hand is walking. By that we mean just doing what it does best and going back and forth, and your left hand is coming in to play the melody. So firstly you have to get your right hand solid. Now we're going to draw it because this is how we're learning. Okay, it's going to be a long one because there's actually 3 sections to this, although it's 3 sections, it's only really 2 sections. And the first section is repeated the third time. So it's not important. I'll draw the clef though for when we do, as a community or as an individual, transition to the world of real traditional music. You can refer to real music, real sheet music, and we'll cover that. We'll get there. So firstly. So there's 4 of those, okay? Dum, dum. That's joined, okay? I'm sorry that went off. Dum, dum. These are quavers. Remember quavers? Half beat notes. 4 beats in a bar because of the time signature here, 4/4. And that's all the first section is. Ding. Middle note, i.e. ding, 1, and then second note, 2. And they're all right hands, okay? So instead of writing right hand for all of these, I'm just going to write R and do a bracket. They do things like this in traditional music, so in our case, that will be useful. These are all right hand, and I'm doing middle finger and then thumb. You know which parts of your middle finger to use from lesson 0.1, I think it is, the touch technique. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You might have to do that slowly. So let's get that 60 beats per minute tempo. Get your metronome out if you have to. Definitely get it out if you're practicing. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. You can count these as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, after you do 4 of those, practice it so that it's a constant tempo. You do the same, pretty much the same thing. However, your thumb is now playing the 3rd note. So you see the 3rd note, as you know, is on the line here. I got so excited I drew the third note twice there. So 4 of these again, right? They're quavers. And still the ding, still the right hand. So let's extend this bracket, okay? And now it's 4 of these, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and now it's 4 of these, and 3 and 4, and remember, third note. The only thing which has changed is the second note has now gone to the third note. So it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and second bit 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and okay? And that literally are your 2 sections and is all you're going to be doing. The third section is actually the first section played for 2 bars, which I will draw again in a minute. However, if you've established this right hand pattern now, you should be able to get your left hand. Okay, this is a little melody I've come up with, but you can come up with your own. But I'm going to teach you. So firstly, we have to make this a lot cleaner. Now, on the piano, when you play with 2 hands, the right hand strictly has stems up, all right? And the left hand strictly has stems going down. That's if they share the same staff, okay, the same staves here. Now, this isn't going to work if my right hand stems, are all going up. They all need to go down. So instead of trying to do these individually, let me just rub this out and do it again, okay? So don't worry, we're doing exactly the same thing with the right hand, but it's going to be drawn slightly different, so that we can fit the left hand in. If you really want to, if you really like reading sheet music, you might even want to try writing your own. So you would do this by drawing 5 staves. All right. Trace over a treble clef like this, draw your 4/4, ding, 1, 2, note 1, note 2, note 1, note 2, note 1, note 2. Now, the stems are going to go underneath, okay, we're going to do it like this, because the melody is higher, so the stems need to go higher for the melody, okay, so try to keep this as quick but also as clean as possible. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, okay, and then the same thing over here, but as you know, it's now up there. Okay, so feel free to skip through this. I'm just drawing them. But anyway, no, don't skip now. We are going to stick the left hand in now. And the left hand is, the first note is 3, 5, the 5th note. Now the 5th note is, let's see, on this line. Now I'll bring this up again, and I'll get to the reason why this looks different. But let me mention the fact that the ding, even though the pitch is much lower, it's like an octave lower than all the other notes, it's being marked on the middle line. That's just because when you do draw the handpan, remember what we said? We said the middle note would be in the middle, just for visual purposes. In future, we're going to drop that down to where it should be in relation to pitch. So in future, as we transition towards traditional musical notation, and you guys want to go into the real world of musical notation and take whatever sheet music you like to learn on the handpan, you can. Right now, we're still using the middle line for the ding for visual purposes. Now, rub out the handpan, because if you want to learn which notes map to which, you need to check out lesson 1. I don't mean lesson 0.1, that's for touch technique, I mean lesson 1. Okay, So, okay, what we're looking at now, this is the left hand, the stems are going up. So in this case, all left hand notes, stems are going up. All right hand notes, stems are going down. However, we've not seen this note before. It's an open circle, or an open note, or a white note, I think the French call it. And it stands for 2 beats. We call it a minim in the UK. And in the US, you probably call it a 2-beat note. Okay, and that's exactly what it is. I mean, there's no guessing when you're referring to the actual beats themselves. You know that a crotchet is 1 beat. You know a quaver, I won't write their names again. The quavers are half beats, and semi-quavers are quarter beats, right? So the way this would work is you would count 2 beats before you move on. So the left hand here is 2 beats. This is a 5th note, okay? So you would go, that 2-beat note would last for the length of these 4 quavers, because that would be 2 beats. So 4 quavers, of course, 2 sets of these equals 2 of these, which equals 1 of these. Okay? So that's what you would do. You'd play obviously the first beat together, so right and left hand together, 1 and 5, and then your right hand would go on to play the last 3 quavers. Okay? You could say that's what the first 2 beats are. My left hand then goes, I'll do that again because I messed it up a little bit. And what I did there, if you might have missed it, is I played the 6th and 7th note with my left hand on the beats. So 6 we know is here, 6, and we know that 7 is here on the line. Remember, if you're still not too sure which notes are which, just remember the pattern we learned, that every line is an odd number of the note, and all odd numbers are left hands. So if I point to that, top line is a 9, right at the top. If I point to with the exception of the middle line, it's still a left hand, but we know it's a ding. If I point to the second line, we know it's note 3. First line is not down there. First line is 3. Second line is 5. Sorry, I just might have messed that up. 3, 5, middle, which is 1, 7, 9. And then the spaces between are 2, 4, that's percussive slap here, 6, 8. Okay? Go back to, I think it's lesson 2 or 3, or 1, it was even 1. Check out lesson 1 on how to do this. So now you know a minimum is 2, so your left hand goes dum, and it's still your left hand. Dum, dum. It's worth noting right now that it doesn't always mean that because you've got 2 notes happening at the same time, and one note has a stem going up and the other one going down, it doesn't always mean that the note going up is your left hand and the note going down, the note with the stem going down is your right hand. In this case it does. So that's what I'm saying, I'm indicating. And that would be implied in the music somewhere beforehand. Or assumed, alright? If it's not otherwise stated to do something otherwise, you would just probably do the stems up as left and the stems down as right. And the way you count this is tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 1 and 2 beats for the first note. 1 and 2 and then 3 and 4 and. Another way to learn this is count the beats, right? You know that your hand is always doing the 1 ands, 2 ands, 3 ands, and the 4 ands. And then you also know that there's only 3 notes on the left hand, and the first note comes in on the first beat, so 1, and nothing, your left hand isn't playing on the second beat because it's already been played. But it does play on the 3rd and 4th beat. Okay, so you're going to play 1, 3, 4, 1, next part is exactly the same for the left hand. Alright, even though the right hand changes slightly, your left hand is the same. Why? What was I going to say? What, with such a small difference, how can it sound so different? It's because the right-hand accompaniment has changed. You've gone from what has been almost major to an actual minor, because the third note, in this case, in the case of this handpan, is a semitone difference. This is a D curd, by the way, generation 7. And I did an offbeat there, so just ignore that. But that's exactly what you do. So. So if you can practice these, then you'll immediately be able to master walking your feet. In other words, walking your hands on the handpan. If it is difficult to do, break it up. Just do your right hand first, and then if you want to combine them together, again, simplify it. So first, do them in sections. So you might do these two first, these two second. Okay, and if you master that, the first bar, the only thing you need to change then is what you do with the right thumb. So instead of going with your right thumb, it just goes over here. So don't think too much about your right hand, and that's the point. It's called walking because you're not supposed to think about walking when you do it. You're supposed to think about your left hand. 1, 3, 4, 1. Counting the beats. 3, 4. My right hand is also moving. 3, 4, 1. And there you have it. That is walking your hands on the handpan, playing, in other words, hang massives riff. And what you can do in future, we might cover this later, but you can play a semi-quaver version. We'll probably put this in the practice material. What does this look like? Well, it's a semi-quaver. You're playing beat 1, note 1, 5, 2, 5. 1, 5, 2, 5. And I'll just write it quickly right now. This is the secret. 1, 5, 2, 5. Written as a semi-quaver. Now, there's no way you're going to remember anybody else's method for writing this as quickly, even if it has got pictures of whatever. I don't know what other people are using, but this is your standard notation here: 1, 5, 2, 5. Right, left. Okay. Right, left. So there you have it, semi-quaver version. And if you want to, obviously, then do the second part of that, you change that to an E, which is here. So exactly the same here, okay? But I'm playing that very quickly. I mean, choose a tempo like this. 3 and 4 and 3 and 4 and 1 E and a 1 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 and a 4 E and a 2 E and a semi-quaver. If you've got a loop station or some kind of software to loop this, you could do this with the right hand. Well, you could do this first and then get something beautiful with your left hand go. Obviously, I'm not looping, I'm trying to fit everything in with just 2 hands. It's possible. Yeah, there you have it. Lesson 8. Walking your hands. Check out the next lesson. It's going to get more challenging, but more interesting at the same time. If you've got any questions, let us know. Check out the practice material and make your practicing on the handpan worthwhile and interesting and free. You know, you've already paid hundreds of dollars for a handpan. You know, have these lessons. So you're welcome. See you in a bit.